Welcome everyone. Hi. Hi everybody. Thanks for joining. Hello everyone. We're just waiting for Nurse Megan. Hi. Let me see if she has made it here yet. I am searching the list. Doesn't look like she's made it into the room just yet. So we'll give her a second. Hey Beth. Hey everybody, thank you so much for taking the time to come in today. We're so excited to share some more PPE information with you. There we go, there she is. And we'll get Nurse Megan pulled in so we can start chatting with you. Hey!
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Excellent.
I'm excited. We're going to open.
Yes. Yes, salons are reopening in Iowa, so you'll be able to get your hair and nails done again. Oh, happy day. And before we get full on into everything, I have a little message that I want to hold up for everyone. Just since we're on the official nails channel and just to be like super safe. So ta-da! This is basically just letting you know that we're just doing this to be nice. This is a combined effort of Nails Magazine, FingerNailFixer, and Nurse Megan. This is just CDC information and guidelines on PPE. It's stuff that you could look up yourself on the CDC website. And the information that I'm providing to you from salons that have reopened is just their opinions and things that they have learned from trial and error. And you should definitely follow the mandates that your state or your territory puts out for you. So, oh, it's backwards. That's not cool. I will post it in the comments at the end if it lets me post photos in the comments. If not, I'll post it as a post. I didn't know it would be backwards. That's so annoying. Sorry. Can I... While you're talking about something, I'll see if I can flip it. I didn't even think about needing to have it as a mirrored image.
We had valid effort. We had
The
good
things
intentions.
you learn when you're trying to be live. So awesome. So to start off, we thought it would be really helpful to go ahead and pretty much be like we're going to be in the salon. We talked about in the first PPE Live that it's a good idea to go ahead and forego makeup for right now. Something the girls that have already opened realize is you get a little sweaty in this extra PPE, and so their eye makeup was running down their faces, which was irritating their eyes, and the masks, the face masks are really pressing your makeup into your skin, which is irritating your skin. And so as weird as it feels to have no makeup on when you go into the salon, it's really helpful not to wear makeup. And then to have your hair in a bun or in a ponytail makes it easier to wear a mask or a face mask as well. So as strange as it feels to get ready and not wear makeup and not fix your hair to go into the salon, it's actually going to be ideal for your PPE situation. So let's talk about the order that we should put on our PPE. And I'm going to share that in a photo series if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can find it on my FingerNailFixer Facebook page in a photo album. It's just facebook.com/FingerNailFixer. And I'll also provide those images to my Nails Magazine blog so that you can see those images. And they're also on the CDC website. That's where I got them from via Nurse Megan. So let's go ahead and put our PPE on, and then we'll do intros once we've got on our PPE. So we're all official.
Okay. So according to the CDC guidelines, there's a direct order for putting everything on. And it goes with first, if you were going to be wearing like a smock or something over your clothes, that'll be the very first thing that you put on. So for me, I'm not going to be wearing that, but if you were, that's what you'd put on right now. And then your next item will be your mask.
Okay.
Okay, mask on and make sure you have your top piece. If you have a nose cover going on, and give it a little tug on the chin. Next will be your goggles or face shield. I prefer face shield because I wear glasses.
And we each did something different so that we can show you how to clean the goggles and the face shield. Okay, what do they mean by mute my mic? I don't have a mic on. They're telling me there's an echo.
How about now?
So I'm not sure how to prevent the echo. We had an echo with another. We had an echo with another one, and it's not anything that we can fix. It's just something, I think, because there's so many people doing lives and there's so many people using their internet. I think it's just the technology. So I'm afraid we can't help that. And we're still going to go ahead and present you with the information because it's important. So I'm really sorry about the echo, but it's not something we can help. And it's something that I've noticed on more than one live.
Okay, so now that you have your face shield on, it will be to move on to putting your gloves on.
All right, so grabbing gloves. And real quick before I put my gloves on, I'm going to see if I can edit this picture and flip it around so that it's not backwards. Mirror. Aha! All right. Is that still backwards?
No, it's good now.
Yay! So now that worked. Woohoo! In the part 1, we talked about tricks for keeping the glasses from steaming up. One of them is to press your metal band in your nose piece so that it doesn't have that little air gap. Another one is making sure you have the little air gap under here. And another one is wearing a face shield instead of the safety glasses if you don't wear regular glasses. But you can go back to that part 1 if you wear glasses because we had lots of tips and tricks for that. Let's do a quick rundown. Now that we have our PPE on, let's do a quick rundown on the purpose of each piece. So we could do either safety glasses or a face shield. Which one of those, what is the point of wearing those?
Okay, so the purpose of wearing your face shield is to prevent the extra bit for anything touching your face. This would also then be for your glasses so that any bacteria isn't getting into the mucous membranes of the eyes. Because your mucous membranes is how everything spreads. If somebody coughs or there's an aerosol particle and then it lands on you, that's where it's going to go. That's your mucous membranes for your eyes, for your nose, and for your mouth. And then by doing the safety glasses with that extra top piece there, that completely shields you in so that your eyes aren't getting infected, as well as your side shields that you have on yours and the top piece above the brow. That will prevent that completely. Now, for the face shield, the big thing is making sure you can see, here, you can see mine. I would need to adjust mine more to make sure that I'm coming down further across my mask. So if you see, at the beginning, I was too high. So therefore, stuff could still get up under it. You want to bring it down lower so that you don't have that issue.
Cool. And then what would be the point of wearing the mask?
The point of wearing the mask will be so that you aren't breathing in other people's any kind of virus, bacteria, germs that they have. Now, for the whole Beta the Live, we will be referring it to it as, yes, it's a virus, not a bacteria, but the mask itself is for to keep out bacteria, virus, germs, insert any type of whatever we want to refer it as. Now, with the mask, it's so you're not breathing in the other aerosol particles. A mask is only effective if you both are wearing the mask. The mask itself keeps your germs from going out to other people, and as long as the other person has a mask on, they will keep their germs from entering into you.
Awesome. And if you're wearing a face shield, is it important to still wear a mask?
Yes, you still have to wear a mask, no matter what. Whether you're with a face shield, whether you have your safety glasses on, you still have to wear the mask.
Gloves.
Gloves, the preventative measure to help so that your hands do not end up touching anything with you. That way that you keep their bacteria, virus, germs, you keep that on them and not entering you. Your gloves will be your holy grail, as well as hand hygiene. The gloves are just to, therefore you're not bringing it with you constantly. So you're not constantly during your entire session of whatever you're doing with your client, having to re-wash your hands, use your hand sanitizer.
And gloves are something that I was already wearing in the salon. So what some of you may find is if you can go ahead and get used to wearing the gloves during this time, you may as well go ahead and continue wearing the gloves after, because there is a benefit to going ahead and wearing the gloves. You will find that for example, during massage, your lotion goes further because your own skin is not absorbing it. You reduce your personal contact to your products, so you reduce the chances of overexposure. And so really the gloves have more of a benefit than just right now during this virus period. And so the gloves are actually far more beneficial than just this immediate PPE concern. It should be a PPE that you are already dealing with and that you may be taking consideration as a permanent addition to your salon repertoire, if you will. Let's take a look at clarification. Something that everyone had a question about last time was changing clothes at the end of the day. That is a CDC guideline for medical professionals, and we included that out of consideration for people that maybe have immunocompromised family members at home, so that you had things that could relieve your anxiety, relieve your stress. There were a lot of people just really freaking out about going to the salon, freaking out about their personal safety, their kids. Maybe they had infants, and maybe they had, cancer patients at home, people with respiratory issues at home, all of those types of things. And so we were trying to go above and beyond and give you medical professional guidelines. So instead of that, oh my gosh, we have to do that, those were just guidelines we were giving you that the CDC gives medical professionals. It's not something we were saying you have to do. So changing clothes at the end of the day is an option if you have immunocompromised family at home. A softer option, if you will, are smocks. An even softer option than that is aprons. Of course, you don't have to do any of that unless your state or your territory mandates it. So that's something to take into consideration. We were just kind of trying to offer things that could reduce your stress, your anxiety, and take care of those of you that had immunocompromised family. So those were just some CDC guidelines. So just use your judgment on things like that and pay attention to what your mandates are in your area. Can you demo taking a drink for us without having to take off all of our PPE? Because I know when we switch out clients, if we're wearing fabric masks, we don't have to take off our fabric mask between every client. We can wear this all day and wash it at the end of the day. So how can we take a drink in between every client so we're not getting dehydrated as we're sweating bullets all day?
Okay, so I would definitely remove your mask if you're going to drink, because it's one less thing you have to worry about bumping as you're trying to drink, and as well as remove your gloves. So I'm going to go ahead and do mine now just so I can show you. You will want to drink from a straw. That way you can go under your mask, and if you're going to touch, it's kind of the same way as removing your gloves, which we're going to go into later, but you want to touch the clean side, which is the inside of your mask, which is why you want to keep your chin side a little bit softer, and then you can slide your straw under the mask. And then just make sure that when you remove straight down. And something else, I have not successfully been able to drink from a bendy straw. I have to have the straight tip straws. The bendy straws you cannot get under the mask. You'll end up hitting your chin with it instead.
So
but the key thing is just to
you
make
need
sure
to keep your drink like in a cabinet or something like
that. Yes, that way it's not, doesn't have anything being on it. Or one of the cups that have the straw that pops, you can pull it down and it pops back into the cup. But that might not work. You may need the longer straw. I have one of the reusable ones that's meant for like the big cups so that it's extra long.
Cool. Here's one of the girls that has gone back into the salon has sent as a help. I'm not sure how to handle this. You're the only person working. You're in, let's say you're a booth renter or a salon suite, and so your business relies on you. You have to answer the phone. You can't ignore it, especially right now when everyone's trying to rebook. You've got all your PPE on. You're in the middle of a service and the phone rings. How do you answer the phone and take an appointment without taking all of your PPE off?
The best thing for that is you're going to just leave it all on and you're going to touch the phone. Now you can still go ahead and use a disinfectant wipe or hand sanitizer on your gloves. Just remember, we're not going to be reusing gloves. You want to remove them after that client. Or best thing would be to remove those gloves, just your gloves. If you have that option, which would be really good. The salons need to think about that with reopening, is that you're going to need the extra gloves in case they rip anyways. And then you'll go ahead and just remember that if you touch that phone, that hopefully you'll be the only one answering it for that little bit because it's going to need to be wiped off then. Now, good thing to do, you're going to have to be re-wiping all your surfaces anyways during the salon. So make sure you're including the phones as well in your wipe down policies that you're going to be doing. And then you can also wipe it right then. Yep, answer the phone, got to wipe it quick. So keep wipes right next to the phone. That way you can take care of it right then and there.
Awesome. How do we take all of this off? What order does it come off when we're ready to eat lunch or at the end of the day? How do we get everything off safely?
Okay, there is on the infographics that Holly has, the CDC has a listing. There's multiple ways to take it off. And the key thing is just to make sure you're not contaminating yourself. So the very first option is to remove your gloves right away. And so for that, make sure when you're removing your gloves, like we showed on the last video, that you pull from the palm to make a little pocket there. And then I like to tuck my hands in so it's less of a roll, less of a snap back on you. Then put it into your palm, pull the rest of the way off. Clean finger under the wrist side. Make sure you don't touch. Create a pocket and roll. Perfect.
Aha.
Now, according to the CDC page, we would then remove goggles or face shield. And when you do that, you want to pull from the back. The back is what's considered clean. The front is where your contaminants are because that's what you're breathing on. That's what your client's breathing on. So then you would pull from the back for your face shield itself, or pull from your ear one side of your glasses and lay them straight down on your surface. And then now would be, if you are changing, say you're going to lunch and you want to get rid of your apron or your smock that you're wearing, then you would take that off next. And to do that, you want to pull that from the back of you. So something that I know some people that are wearing them for restaurant to-go orders, they're wearing shirts backwards because then it's open so that the front side, because where if you wore a smock like you should, a normal way, it would be buttoning in the front. But then you would pull from the back of you and pull it forward because the back is considered clean. Just like when we took our face mask off and our glasses, the back's clean. So you want to pull that towards you and then lay it down as well. And then I would also consider that one I would consider dirty. It's less than trying to put that on when you come back from lunch and having to worry about spreading it all back on you for that. So if you're going to go that option, or like your same thing with your apron even, when you lift your apron off, usually they go around the neck. You'll untie from the back and then lift from the neck and pull forward. And then I would put on a second one, a different one, a clean one after lunch. And then once you have if you're wearing any kind of outer clothing, smock, gown, apron, then you remove your mask last. And then so for your mask, if you are wearing the string style, you want to untie your bottom one first, and then your top. Always remember to touching from the back. If you have the ear loop style like Holly, you want to lift from the part that goes on your ear, and you want to pull the whole thing forward and lay it flat on your surface. Now this is where your paper bag would come in that we talked about on the last one. You would then have your paper bag ready, and you would put that mask, drop it right down inside your bag so that the dirty side is at the bottom of your bag. And then that way when it comes time to put it back on, the clean side will be up.
And one salon owner mentioned that she was using lingerie bags to transport things back and forth from the salon to wash them.
Perfect.
So then some salon owners mentioned, now that all my PPE is off, I want to touch my face. Some of the salon owners have mentioned when cleaning off their masks and goggles, which let's demo that. Cleaning off their masks and goggles, that they were scratching them up with nail dust. So you're going to want to take something really, really soft and gently wipe off all of the nail dust before you use your wipes or your spray to clean off your mask or your goggles, because you don't want that nail dust to scratch your goggles and your mask, because that will make it really difficult to see all your intricate nail designs that you're doing. So make sure that you're getting in there and wiping the nail dust off of your safety glasses and your mask before you disinfect it. What are some important things you can tell us about disinfecting?
So on your disinfectant that you're going to be using, there's something you want to make sure that you know and understand. Read your whole label. Your whole label will tell you everything you need to know. The biggest thing is a contact time or a kill time, and that is how long the item that you're wiping needs to remain wet. You also want to make sure that your wipes are something that's safe that you can use without needing gloves. The wipes that I'm going to be using do say I need to wear gloves. So something that you could do as well is you could go ahead and wipe your face shield with the gloves that you still had on. You wouldn't need to change them. It's just be mindful of that, because we don't want to end up with our hands all broken and cracked, which we're already going to have from the alcohol use from the hand sanitizer and washing. So for mine, I do need my gloves on. And now remember, you need it to visibly be wet. Mine's kind of hard to see, but you can see it gets really, really wet. And that's how long. My chemical kill time for the wipes that I'm using is 3 minutes. And there's also an EPA code on your wipes, which Holly, I think you already have a picture and a graphic for that. And so with that, then you're going to let it sit. And then you'll continue wiping everything. Your face shield, your goggles. I also, the end of my day, I wipe my actual glass frames too. And it's just make sure that you're reading your label to know what surfaces are safe for it and what aren't. Now the next problem.
Once my contact time, my wipes happen to be 1 minute. Some sprays are 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It just depends on the spray. The disinfectants always leave streaks. Mm-hmm. Now what?
So once your time has set, the best thing to do is to have a little spray bottle of water that you can just spritz on there and then wipe. And you're completely safe by doing that as long as you rated your contact time for how long it takes for it to dry. That is what we do at work. So once we disinfect ours at the hospital, then we go in and we wipe them and we dry them and buff them down so that you can see through them, because that chemical leaves a film, it leaves a buildup. And something else that may be good for you as well is after you're wiping between clients at the end of your day, give it a really good wipe with just water. And then completely dry it and make it dry hard. Some people even put it in front of a fan. That way you can get your, I'm starting to develop a film on mine. I just want to look to see. With my film, the words even on my screen are blurry. So the key factor is going to be the little spritz of the water. Just buffing the chemical actually smears the chemical more. So you will need the water level to break that down some.
Okay. So spray it with a little bit of water and then buff it to get your shine back and keep it clear. And we have a question, what about alcohol spray?
The alcohol spray will work as well. That's actually what I use alcohol spray on my cell phone. So it's just whatever works better for you. If you want to do the alcohol, that's fine. And that's what I use on the phone. So
and kind of keep in mind, guys, that alcohol is getting hard to find right now. especially since we kind of need alcohol to, if you're doing gel polish services, you need alcohol to clean off that top film at the end of your gel polish services or at the end of your gel services. And so you might want to reserve your alcohol for that. And if we can get that detergent residue off of our stuff with just water, the water comes out of the tap. And so it would definitely be easier to access water than to get more alcohol. So you may want to reserve your alcohol in that situation, just kind of as a thought. Okay, that's just a follow request. So we talked about that. I have a few tips from salons that have already opened that I wanted to share with you. And Nurse Megan, if you want to, before I do that, do you want to do an intro and just kind of let them know why we're getting information from you?
Yes. So I graduated nursing school in 2010. And I currently practice as a surgical environmental sanitation tech. So I work in an OR for a local hospital. And that's all the stuff that we are giving you is the CDC guidelines that we're even using in the hospital. And it's just a go through of what we're doing. I've been with Holly now for 2 or 3 years. And I'm one of her. I also have medical problems that are quite complex. And I'm one of the reasons I stay with Holly, besides that I love her to death, is that she already has followed a lot of stuff that normal salons don't. She's already, the entire time I've been with her, has wore gloves. Her disinfectant, she leaves right out so we can see what it is. And then, I like to know things. So I went ahead and I've already looked up her disinfectant the first time I ever met her, just to see. And that is something big with somebody who, like themselves, have something wrong. It's really important because honestly, the same thing with the lady that does my hair. She also knows that I have complex medical, so I feel safe going there. And that is the biggest thing is if your clients feel safe, they'll still stay with you. And that is, a lot of us have the elderly clients as well, and we have to protect them. And that is why I'm happy to help. The more people that do everything, the more we can get back to what our normal is going to be for right now. So I'm happy to help. I'm happy with questions. Ask away, and just remember everything's from the CDC, so we can look it all up if we need to later, or you want to do your own printouts or graphics.
They do have a question for you. She had a question about why are we putting the masks in a paper bag?
The mask in the paper bag is so that it's not left exposed, and the mask itself will help absorb any kind of moisture, the face oils, the grease. Plus, if it's in a paper bag and you can fold it over and you're going on your lunch, you can have it, set it on the table and somebody else isn't breathing on it. So just fold your mask at the top of the bag. I'd fold it down twice, and then you'd be good to go. And that is only using it for transport, using it to keep it while you're going to lunch, going to the bathroom if you want to take it off to go to the bathroom. And that it will help. Think about it, the fast food paper bag. It absorbs all the grease so your car seat doesn't get gross. So that's what your mask is doing too. It's going in the bag, your bag's gonna absorb your grease.
Yeah, and the bags are really easy to find on places like Amazon in bulk, huge bulk.
Yeah.
As far as brands, we're not discussing brands in this live just because I want to keep it very unbranded so that everyone can share it no matter what brand they use. We want to keep it strictly about PPE information and guidelines and salon safety so that everyone can share it. If you want to know my personal brand recommendations, you can visit my Facebook page, and I have a photo album there listed with brands and websites. Keeping UV light safety. So as far as your UV lamps for your gel polishes and your gel services, those need to be cleaned in between every client. You should have been doing that anyway before the coronavirus. So if you haven't been doing that, definitely start implementing that and then make that a permanent part of your salon practices. We have a question, does alcohol kill the virus?
The alcohol content needs to be at 70% in order to effectively kill the virus. But once again, due to shortages, I would advise against using pure alcohol. Plus, you got to remember alcohol is what's going into hand sanitizer. And for our local area, we have a lot of breweries and distilleries that are making hand sanitizer for us. And so I would rather reserve the alcohol for that purpose.
And then, would you give your client a covered cup with a straw? No.
No.
We would not do that because it would require them lifting up their mask, contaminating their hand to lift their mask. So I believe most salons are suggesting that clients not have beverages, that they not bring in personal items and things like that, because anything that requires them to touch it, to touch their mask, causes contamination. My audio is down as far as I can turn it down and still be able to even remotely hear Megan. I'm so sorry
Mine
about
is
the
too.
echo. It does seem to be an issue on social media these days with so many people doing lives. I think it has to do more with so many people being on at the same time than anything. So let me grab these recommendations from the other salon owners that have already opened. These are things that they have kind of figured out from trial and error, or that they wish someone had told them before they opened. One suggested at the end of every service, before you switch clients, clean everything you touched during that service, from brush handles to bottles, powder jars, monomer jugs, etc. So just set it all off to one side as you progress throughout the service so you remember what you used and you can clean everything off at the end of the service and put it away. Do you have anything to add to that, Megan?
The only thing is just take a moment before your salon's going to open here in the next, couple days or whenever you're opening, or if you already are, and just really realize anything that's out is going to be contaminated. If you can put it away, plus it saves you time. Maybe that's an extra client you could get in if you're shaving off an extra couple minutes between everybody. And just remember, if it's out, you have to clean it.
Yeah. Consider a quick Swiffer mop run through the high traffic areas after each client. Several of them had the little Swiffer wet mops that they were just quick running through the main traffic area after each client. And this was because the COVID virus is being transferred through people's walking through their shoes. Do you have any input on that?
Just like we talked about in the last video, your shoes are one of your harbors. One of the studies shows that the ICU nurses taking care of the COVID patients, 50% of them carry the virus on their shoes. And the virus on fabrics can live up to 48 hours. So a good rule is if it touches the floor, you have to disinfect it, no matter what. So that's why another reason, people with their purses, people with bags, it's better to not have them, because if it touches the floor, it's dirty.
So just a quick spray with your disinfectant and run over it with the Swiffer mop in that high
Absolutely.
disinfectant area. Wipe the bathroom surfaces after each client. Every single salon owner that got back to me mentioned that. If you're going to take cash, a lot of people said we're only taking cards, or we're only taking Venmo or PayPal or Square or things like that. And then I did have one say, we're taking cash. We have people that don't understand how to use technology. And she said, what we do to take cash is we have Ziploc bags ready, and we let people know that there's no change. They have to have the amount that they're going to pay, and they let them put it into a Ziploc bag, and they put all the Ziploc bags in a container. And then at the end of the day, she takes the container with her, and she opens it up and takes all the cash out and sets the cash aside at home and washes her hands, and then just lets the cash sit there for a few days at home. Do you have anything to add to that? Is the virus going to die on the cash after a few days sitting on your counter at home?
It's just considered paper, and so paper, cardboard, same thing. Just leave it in the bag. I would leave it for at least 2 days.
Cool. Have a stylus handy for your phone or your tablet if you're doing payments or appointments on your phone or tablet if your gloves don't work on it. Have more than one stylus. So if you drop it on the floor, or if you break it or anything like that, you can get those ink pens that have little stylus on the tip or on the end. Those are a dime a dozen all over the place. Those are really handy anyway. And some of you may have some left over from giving them away for Christmas at one point. Dig them out from whatever closet you stashed them in and start using those again. For polish walls and retail, use your discretion. This has been debated on my page, and so I'm going to kind of summarize the opinions that were offered, because everyone had a really wide range of opinions, and really all we have to go with on that is opinions, because there really haven't been state mandates regarding retail and polish walls and all of that. And so the main consensus has been either do one of two things. Either enclose it, put something in front of it, something plastic or plexiglass or what have you, to avoid them being able to touch it, or trust them and ask them not to touch it and treat it like a grocery store display. So here is the retail or the polish wall. Please don't touch it. Let me know if there's something you want from there, and I will personally get it for you, but please don't touch it. And you don't have to go through and clean every single bottle or every single item on that retail shelf at the end of every single day, because they're not doing that at Walmart. They're not doing that at Costco. They're not doing that at the grocery store. And so the consensus has been one of those two camps, and it's come down to what you're comfortable with. You know, what are your resources? What is your handyman availability or your personal skills? And what are you comfortable with? If your anxiety is, I can't handle one single person touching that, by all means, put something in front of it. If your personal anxiety is, everybody can touch things at the grocery store, I'll just ask them not to touch it, my clients are trustable, then treat it like a grocery store display. So that really is your personal preference, your personal discretion. Do what feels right for you. Would you have anything to add to that, Megan, or feel differently about that?
No, absolutely not. The polished walls are just like your countertops. If you, same thing with the salon, you have all your products on there. You know, the hair salon has all their products on there. The massage just has the massage oils. It's just, if you use it, you wipe it. And I would just hang the signs. And for the most part, people are following everything. And they already know what your rules are going to be coming into the salon. I would just put that on there. You know, we ask that you please don't touch any products. We'll be happy to get them for you. And for the most part, people are willing to follow everything.
And it's really easy to create signs that say, you know, we ask that you please not touch our products at this time, or we ask that you please not touch the polishes at this time, or please ask for assistance. And so just Google those signs. I haven't seen any that are nail specific. Some of them have at least been salon generic.
Yeah.
If you guys want me to make some, I can definitely make some up and post them, and make them more nail specific if you like. But that's been a big discussion topic. Having extra masks for yourself so you don't have to wash them every night has been a suggestion. Some of them have said by the time they get home, they're tired. Yeah. They don't want to do laundry. So they've mentioned, you know, having more than one smock, having more than one or two masks, so that at the end of the day, they can just put it in its own special bag in the laundry room, or put it in the wash machine and put the lid down, so that after a couple of days, when the wash machine actually has a full load, they can kick it on, but not having to do it every single night. Do you have anything? Does it hurt anything as long as it's in the wash machine, or is it in its own special bag?
No, it doesn't at all. And always do have the extras. And I would also have some extras that this just happened. My dad actually works at a factory that's required to wear masks, and his ear loop fell off his mask. And luckily they have masks that he can wear, but I already had it prepared. So he had extras in his car. Well, he also just the other day had a buddy that had the same thing happen. And my dad's the helpful guy, you know, the true dad. So here, no problem, just have one of mine, because that can happen anywhere. It's the same thing of, oh no, you know, you got something on your shirt, have your backup. And I have masks out in my car. It's now considered the restaurant Kleenexes. You take them. If you get them, you take them.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. The last thing from the other salons that have opened is don't be intimidated. Don't let clients intimidate you. Don't let them make you feel like you have to get them in right now because they say so. Don't let them make you feel like they don't have to wear a mask. One of the big things has been, it's my God-given right not to wear a mask. Yes, it is. It's also your right not to have an appointment at my salon. Just like you're wearing a mask for their safety, they can choose to wear a mask for your safety. And some of the backlash has been that they don't feel that they have to wear a mask for your safety. It's uncomfortable. They don't like wearing a mask. They don't have to wear a mask if they don't want to. It's a conspiracy. It's not fair. And so that's fine and dandy. That is absolutely their choice. It's absolutely their preference. But it can also be your preference if you want to take your health seriously and you want to take the virus seriously, to ask them to please wait until there's a vaccine or there is more sufficient understanding of the virus to make masks not as big of a deal. Let them know, I've had a consultation with a medical professional that has let me know that masks are actually very important to the spread of the virus. And so I would feel more comfortable if you would rebook in a few months when we have a better understanding of a virus. And so don't let clients intimidate you. And it's going to be difficult. It's going to be really hard not to be intimidated. You do need to stand your ground. And so if you need a pep talk, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. It's under FingerNailFixer. If you need to vent, send me a private message. It's never good to vent on public forum. If you need to vent, send me a private message. Know that I will never judge you. And, keep it that way. Don't let people intimidate you.
Something
Let's
I want
go
to
back
add
to
to that
our
is,
main page.
I'm going to add
I did
something
have a
quick, Ollie.
question that someone asked. Some people have fabric chairs for their client chair. Remind us what the lifespan was on fabric, and should they cover those fabric chairs for their client chairs?
Yes, the fabric. I just sent Holly a graphic for a research study that was done, and I believe she'll be posting that. It says on the bottom of the page where the research was done and everything. For the actual fabric, it's up to 2 days, 48 hours, and that is the fabric for your cloth chairs. That's your clothes, your shoes, and this is just actual fabric. This isn't including leather or vinyl or anything like that, but true fabric of its own sense. And that is, so I would cover it with a sheet. Because then you can wash that sheet. I would wash it daily. So you may end up with a load of laundry by the end of your day after all. But something we talked about last video is to have those reusable cloth bags. That's what I use when I change, because I do change my clothes. I want to leave all my bacteria, virus, germs at work. So I do change my clothes. Everything goes in that cloth bag. I dump it into the washer and then I put my cloth bag in with it. So that's the same thing I would do with any of your cloth chairs. And some people have gotten creative. I've actually seen some people that use the press and seal to cover their chairs. And it actually has held up quite well with disinfecting using whatever their wipes were. We actually are kind of running a little test on it right now. I have a friend that's doing it. She has the toddler that, everything goes in his mouth, and she runs a daycare. So for her own home, she's testing the press and seal method. And so far it's worked for her.
Oh, funny. Someone wants to know, do they need to change the press and seal after every client, or can they wipe it?
You can wipe it. So far, it's worked. Now, this is nothing scientific by all means. This is just something that she's trying. She actually was doing it she's had to replace her, she's on baby 6. So the same high chair. So she's replaced her little insert for the high chair several times, and she wipes it and the press and seal works well. But once again, that's not anything official, but it has worked.
And I have posted a post over on my FingerNailFixer Facebook asking for suggestions, and people have been posting links of chair covers they've found and ideas for things that they've done for their fabric chairs to cover them with different materials. One question is, why don't we make a YouTube video instead of doing lives? One is for interaction so that people can ask questions in person. And then in addition to that, I post these lives to my YouTube. So if you go to youtube.com/FingerNailFixer, you'll find part 1 of the PPEs with Nurse Megan on my YouTube. So I have been posting these on YouTube in addition to doing them live. You can get it both ways.
Okay, so I do have a few questions, Holly, that I had seen during, and I'll go ahead and address them.
Yes, we're at the Q&A. So if
Okay.
you are seeing the questions, I was just going to scroll back and look for all the questions as well.
Okay, so back the last thing we were talking about the client's hesitance to wear masks. Something I want to add to that is one of the big things is people, asthma, respiratory problems, and I'm okay telling you this, I have asthma. And I also have, I'm immunocompromised as well. And I do find wearing the mask. Your first little bit when you have the mask on, it's like, oh no, I can't breathe. But it does, it subsides. The biggest thing is to remind yourself to take the deep breaths, or remind your client that as well. Take a big deep breath, and that initial breath helps you with the mask. And it's kind of more of a claustrophobia kind of thing that people tend to get. But even the asthma, COPD, emphysema, they're still suggesting that they wear them. Now, they would have problems breathing through like the higher grade surgical masks, like the respirator style stuff, the N95s, but they aren't having trouble at all breathing through the cloth mask. And my mother is COPD, and she's wearing a cloth mask like a champ. And so it's not causing anything. But just remember to be confident. This is what we have to do. I'm sorry, but to get your services done here, we will have to do this. Another question or concern that was brought up was the sneeze guards. We did talk about this in the last live, and with the sneeze guards, I'm very hesitant. If I went into a place that was doing the sneeze guard and they weren't following any other measures, I would not go there. The sneeze guard, you still have that client walking up around the booth, to come in. So they're still walking either behind you, to the side of you, one way or another. So you still need to wear your mask. I would still wear safety shield. I would still wear my safety glasses. It doesn't prevent anything. I mean, sure, it's one more layer of barrier, but in my own opinion, it's not worth the price for it when you could just have the other stuff already.
Right. The face shield is going to do just as much. Do you recommend a client wearing fingerless gloves?
No. As long as they're doing their, hand hygiene, everything when they come into the salon for what you've set up, you're fine. Plus, the less gloves, the less use of stuff, the better.
When washing your clothes and mask, does it need to be a boil wash, or will the soap kill the virus without a boil wash?
Your normal wash will be just fine. Even if direct contact with patients, it's still a normal, like in the hospital setting, that person going home that is treating that COVID patient is still just washing them in a normal wash. Just make sure that you aren't air drying. You need to put those items in the dryer.
Okay. If you have carpet, just vacuum?
I would not vacuum in between clients. Carpet, just realize that you are going to have a little bit of a higher risk. I would vacuum at the end of the day. And I would also recommend a HEPA filter style vacuum. That way it'll help more with your contaminants. And by all means, some people are also switching. We at the hospital have had talks about this. The hospital currently uses the bagged vacuums. We do not use the containers, because then when you're going to dump that, it can spread the virus, germs, bacteria, whatever you're fighting. So go to a bagged vacuum and with a HEPA filter.
I have a question. Gel is better or acrylic? And I'm not sure what you mean by that question. As a general rule of thumb, whether gel or acrylic is better is going to depend on the condition of your client's natural nail. Liquid and powder is going to be better as a makeover. Gel is generally going to be better on a nail that is a little harder. So it depends on the natural nail, the maintenance schedule they're willing to maintain, and their lifestyle, which product you would choose. I'm not sure that it matters which product you would use for the virus. Do you have opinions on that, Megan?
No, my opinion on that is whatever you decide to use or your clients decide, just make sure they follow hand hygiene all the time.
Okay.
And also something that you really need to enforce after you're doing your nail services is your client, you already have to protect your nails, and they need to wear their gloves and all that, but a lot of the disinfectants and not using gloves with them are going to eat the nails. And same thing with using their nail brushes. If your clients already aren't using them at home, they need to.
Yes. Do you recommend having clients fill out a disclosure and contact paper? So those are pretty much only as good as the piece of paper they're written on. My suggestion on this is to contact your lawyer and contact your liability insurance company to find out, A, if you have a leg to stand on, if there is even anything to that for you, and B, if they recommend them. Because if you do something like that is completely going to be dependent on your lawyer and your liability insurance. So you want to check in with them to see if that is something that you're covered on and if it's a concern for you. A lot of insurance companies are lumping COVID in like the flu, and you can't sue someone because you got the flu. So look into those things before you generate all of that work and paperwork for yourself. And that is kind of a suggestion on that. If it makes you feel better, obviously use your discretion. One suggestion is disinfect everything before you touch it. Absolutely, before your salon reopens, you should disinfect absolutely everything in your salon. Every single polish bottle, every single gel polish bottle, every single brush handle, absolutely everything.
Something else that you need to consider is if you're leaving any kind of disinfectant out that the public can see, say the bathroom, you have the, wipes or disinfectant in there, you need to make sure that they know it's not labeled for skin use. Even if you're just going to put a little piece of tape on there, make sure it says that. You don't want somebody accidentally grabbing it, thinking, oh, they left pretty little wipes for me, and having it be your disinfectant. And then also something to consider, it's the times that we're currently in. I know some hospital areas that have their disinfectants in their bathrooms are tending to come up a little empty sooner. People have kind of resorted to that point of they can't get them, so I know places that can. So I personally do not keep any kind of things that any clients, the public could reach. Don't keep it out when they're by themselves. It's terrible to say, but it's happening right now at the hospital that I work at.
Wow. If clients are asked to wash hands at CDC standards, can they touch the polishes or the gel polish samples, like the swatches?
My personal opinion, I wouldn't let them touch them. If you know for sure that they rubbed their hand sanitizer in until it was dry, they used their nail brush when they washed their hands, then they could essentially, but then again, you're going to have to disinfect it.
Yeah, and other suggestions that I've seen on my page have been putting them in bags, putting them in frames, putting them in photo albums. So there are lots of different ways to handle those swatches. One person says she hand washes her face masks and hangs them up to dry. Is that killing the virus?
As long as you're using a good detergent on them, yes.
One question is anyone buying scrubs or a spa uniform? I personally bought scrub bottoms and a spa smock. And I've been considering that for a while just for the more professional feel of it because I've done so many things in the salon. A lot of the guidelines coming out now were things I was already doing. I was already wearing gloves. I already do a lot of the wipe down between clients. And so the extras really for me are going to be the face mask. I'm going to wipe the client chair. So there's going to be some extra space that I'm wiping down, but I'm not really having to do a lot of extra. I already go way above and beyond. So I wanted to have a professional look that went with that above and beyond service that I offered. So if you are thinking along the lines of that spa like uniform or that scrub type uniform to add to the look of the level of service that you're offering, I do think it's a good idea versus kind of that salon casual or salon sloppy that some of us tend to resort to because we get in a hurry and these jeans are clean enough, and especially in the summer, it gets hot, and with a salon smock, I can wear a tank top under that. No one knows I'm wearing a tank top under that. And so I can wear more casual, and what's more comfortable than scrubs? It's like wearing sweatpants to work, but it looks super professional. So kind of taking things like that into consideration, and then it takes the worry about, what am I going to wear? Is it going to look professional? And they're easy to wash. I don't have to worry about, am I washing it in the right temperature of water? Is it going to shrink because I washed it in the wrong water? And so it takes a lot of that worry and concern out of it while looking uniform and professional. As a client, Megan, what's your perspective on that?
My biggest thing right now is I would go with the scrubs because I know I wear normal clothes into work and I change into scrubs since I work in surgery. Surgical scrubs, which are the ones that don't contain elastic, they're the tie style pants and no elastic in the top. Anything without elastic can be washed all the way up to 200-degree water and dried at 200-degree heat. And that'll kill it. And that's consider that wash on high, dry on high, even. And I know that because that's what I do every day. So personally, because that's the easiest thing. A lot of the times I know some of the stuff that people wear, you can't dry it. You have to hang it to dry.
Right, it's very delicate, or it's, special fabric, because it's trendy, it's cute.
Yep. And you're going to ruin washing it and drying it. And it's actually been kind of convenient for people that a lot of our nurses now are coming in, not even just in surgery, but in other places, and changing. Well, they're wearing the same clothes every day because you just pop it right in the washer. You don't have to worry about it. I'm only going through one outfit every day because they're washing their clothes immediately when they come home. Once again, that isn't a CDC thing. That's just kind of a suggested practice, but scrubs are simple to wash.
Nice. All right, where are we at on questions? Controlled cancellation policy. If they show up sick to their appointment and get sent home. That's a tough one. If they show up sick to their appointment, they knew they were sick before they showed up. So I feel like they definitely should be charged that cancellation fee because they knew they were sick before they came to the salon. This is definitely going to be an opinion-based thing, and that is going to vary from person to person. So that's really going to be a judgment call, how you feel as a professional. Me as a professional, I feel like that's disrespectful of my health and my family. And so many of us consider our clients our friends. That's the biggest reason I hear why I can't raise my prices because my clients are my friends. Well, your friend shouldn't want your family to be sick, and your friend shouldn't show up for their appointment sick with something that is a global pandemic. So your friend should go home and pay you for that appointment.
There's a question here, Holly, about the jewelry. We covered this at the very end of our last video, and I wanted to bring it up now as well.
Yes.
Jewelry, once again, is one of them surfaces. Holly does have a graphic she's going to be posting about how long stuff lives on that. And like me, I don't go anywhere without a watch. That watch has to be cleaned every day, or between clients. If you end up touching it, it's going to hold germs. I usually have a necklace on. That necklace has to be cleaned as well. My earrings, when I'm at work, I wear a scrub cap that completely covers my ears, so it's okay. But just remember, if you have it on, it's going to have to be washed.
We are getting down to, Instagram is going to shut this video off whether we're done or not. One last question. Does anyone know where you can get safety goggles that fit over glasses? Amazon.
Yes, that's where
Amazon
I helped Holly
has
find
been a
one
huge resource for PPE. I've also sent some links to Nails Magazine. I know Beth has been posting on the Nails Magazine site and on the blog, from the editor's blog, some places where you can find PPEs. And I've been sending links for places that I found safety glasses that fit over glasses. You can also do a face shield if you don't want to mess with the safety glasses going over your glasses. Did you say you can air dry your clothes, or that the dryer heat needs to kill it on your clothes?
I would prefer the dryer heat, but if you're washing hot, then you're okay.
It looks like the questions I'm running across we've already covered. Going to the bathroom we covered in the first one, so if you find part 1 on YouTube. I think we've covered things. Should we add the PPE disinfectant cost to the clients? That has been at your discretion for most people. If it's been a significant cost, and if it's a significant amount of time between clients that it's taking you to clean, yes, it should be passed along to the clients, because you should not be losing money to go to work. That defeats the purpose of going to work. So kind of take a look at that. You may need to get back into the salon a little bit and see how much extra time it's taking. Take into consideration it's going to take a little extra time when you get back in to do the service, because you're going to be doing the service a little slower because you haven't been doing nails for a while. So kind of keep those things in mind. And you can always have a sanitation or PPE fee that goes away. So you can do something like that, or you can raise your prices across the board, because I know some of you haven't done that for a long time. So you could do that as well. And I want to go ahead and sign off so that we can say goodbye instead of Instagram going done and we just disappear in the middle of a sentence. Thank you all so much. I will post this on YouTube. It will stay on the Nails Magazine IGTV, so you'll still be able to find it there. Thank you so much, Megan, for your time.
No problem.
We really appreciate your CDC guidelines, your medical expertise, and your knowledge of the virus from a frontline point of view and standpoint. And we thank all of you for your time, taking time out, and we wish you all the very best of luck going back into the salon and doing nails again with all of this coronavirus craziness. And definitely reach out if you have more questions. We will continue to answer them and continue to help you as you go back to be safe and successful.
Thanks, you. Everyone. Stay safe.